Bryce Hollabaugh, Safety and Risk Director with ElectriCom. I'm here today with Devin Ice. We want to recognize Devin after he performed a pretty important, critical task in a high-stress environment, which helped someone in our community get home safely. So we're here today to recognize Devin, just ask Devin about his experience a little bit. Devin, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? What role do you have at ElectriCom?
So again, my name's Devin. I'm a fiber splicer with ElectriCom. I've been here about 2.5 years.
You know, I want to ask you a little bit about the day, your experience as a whole, when you were driving in that southern Indiana area. Why did you stop? What made you stop and help the individual?
Well, when I was driving by, I saw a younger lady, probably early 20s, on the side of the road. Her car's at this time just visibly smoking. She looks frantic and panicked, and so I stopped and asked what's going on, and she told me her car was smoking and she thinks it might be on fire. So I go up front and I see a small fire underneath the hood, and then so I immediately go back to I just back up and I immediately go back to my truck and grab the fire extinguisher out of it and attempt to put the fire out. It slowed it down for a second, and then as soon as my fire extinguisher ran out, it blazed back up. And I said, do you have anything else in the vehicle that you need out? And she says, no. And I said, well, let's go step in my truck and we'll back up away from the fire and we'll wait for emergency personnel to come handle it.
It sounds like you stayed pretty calm in the moment, and that likely transferred over to her a little bit, benefited her
right
in that experience.
She was very grateful. The authorities were very grateful when I showed up and I stopped, and her parents come pick her up, and they all said thank you for it. And I just sat there and I felt like I did something good that day, get to eat and all that stuff. So there was nothing more than that.
Are there any things that you feel like people should know, at ElectriCom? Is there any tidbits or tips that could be helpful for our drivers or our employees?
Obviously, don't put yourself in harm's way if not necessary, but if you can help, you can help. ElectriCom provides safety equipment for us for a reason. It's not just for your own vehicle. It could be to help somebody else. So if you first aid kits, fire extinguishers, do what you're trained to do, but don't put yourself in an unsafe situation if you're not trained to do it. Just call the proper authorities and don't worry about the consequences right away. Just act the way you can act and deal with the consequences, if any, good or bad. So
control what you can control and don't go outside of your training.
Absolutely.
Level.
Absolutely.
That's great. I'm really glad you had a functional fire extinguisher that day.
I was too.
I'm sure she is too.
Yes.
Okay, Devin, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely.